Ugh. Is it morning already? I have to get up. Get ready. I gotta do it. I'm back home. Hi, Mom and Dad. Oh.
Hello there. Good morning. I was worried because you wouldn't wake up.
Mother? And Father, you too.
What is it? Don't stand around. Let's eat breakfast.
Yes. I sat down and the servants brought us breakfast. My father was reading the newspaper and my mother talked to me excitedly. It was a morning like any other. No, it's not. My parents were both dead. So what is this?
You haven't eaten anything. Are you sick?
Oh. I looked at her. She seemed worried. Typical mom. You're not eating anything, you must be sick. No, I'm all right. I'll eat. I ripped off a piece of bread and stuffed it in my mouth. It had a clear, definite taste as though it was real. Is this real? Was I having a cruel dream? My father and my mother were gone. Finn had left as well. What?
Good morning, Cyrus. I look forward to working with you today.
Finn!
Oh, Finn. Thank you so much for coming to pick up our daughter. No. We work together and I enjoy this. You can eat breakfast with us if you want. She only started to eat just now. Gladly then. Eating together is best. It really is. It's so much nicer than eating alone.
No. I didn't want to admit it, but this is a dream. A dream of something that was never going to happen again, and all the color faded away. Even Finn's in black and white.
What's wrong? You look so sad. Is there something you don't like?
No. Not at all. Finn was as gentle as always. My father was as calm as always. My mother was as upbeat as always. There's nothing sad about this, but... Finn, this is just a dream. And dreams end.
Where are you going, Cyrus?
I have somewhere I need to go. I looked back and forth between my mother, my father, and Finn. Even if this isn't real, I'm glad I got to see you all again. That's so sad. Well, goodbye. You're a strong lady, Cyrus. Turning your back on it. Just being like, nope. I know the truth. Pretending otherwise is just more pain. My consciousness began to reattach itself to my body. Yep, sounds like waking up. It was a dream, like I thought. Still, I'm glad I had it. I got out of bed and went to the closet. There were a number of uniforms, all the same type. But what does it look like? I picked out one of them and took it off its hanger. Perhaps they had used my police uniforms for reference. All of the pieces fit me very well. It was new and unusual, but I knew in time I'd get used to it. Just like I'm going to get used to my parents being gone. They weren't going to come back to life. I wasn't going to deny the reality before me, but I'm still alive. Surely I can find out who did this. I'm not going to give up. I buckled my sword and looked at the mirror. I looked rather nice, considering I'd had such a melancholic dream. Get it, girl. Father, Mother, Finn. I'm going to work. is your outfit? Oh! Very slimming. The servant route. I forgot that's what this was called. Oh, it's purple! Oh no! My favorite color! Oh no, YUNE making them plays. Okay. This is fine. I'm so happy I get to look at this gorgeous color for this entire route. My waiting room had 2 doors. One of the doors led to Saint Yune's room, the other led to the main hallway. I used the latter and went to the kitchen to eat before taking Saint Yune his breakfast. His meal consisted of several plates on a serving cart. I had to wonder whether he was going to be able to eat it all. Excuse me, I've brought your breakfast. Good morning, Your Holiness.
Yeah, good morning.
Saint Yune was already dressed in his robes and sitting in a chair. Since he seemed to be busy, I quickly set his breakfast before him on the table.
It looks good.
He smiled like a boy. It was enough to make me feel like I was the older of the 2 of us. But I'm not. He's much older. Whenever I had seen him at functions or seen his image in art or statues, he had looked the same. Yune Sekie didn't age or die. His immortality was a symbol of order and peace for this country, an object of reverence. I never dreamed that I'd serve him. I stared at him, thinking about how strange it was. He noticed.
What is it?
Nothing. You ate a lot yesterday, and you seem to be very hungry again today.
Yes, I love eating. Eating is when I feel the most human.
Human?
Yeah. When everyone treats me like a saint, I start to lose myself. But when I eat and sleep, I feel human again. It's just for my peace of mind, of course. It doesn't change that I'm different.
Saint Yune. He looked human, but he was a true saint. Different. That was how the people, myself included, viewed him. I never thought Saint Yune would worry about being human.
What about you? You don't look like you have a big appetite. Are you eating properly?
I mean, she does have a healthy appetite. I've never known her to, like... The only time she doesn't eat is when she's trying to make a point when she's in the jail cell of the hounds. And that doesn't really count. Would he like to share in common that we both are pigs when it comes to food? Maybe? Yeah, you and I are the same. We're both humans that like food. I mean, I love food. Real talk, I love food. Yay. Don't worry, I eat a lot too. Just like you, Saint Yune.
A lot, huh? Is that what I look like to you? A glutton?
I...
Don't give me that look. I'm not angry. Besides, I am a glutton, right? I like watching people when they eat. One day, the 2 of us will eat so much we won't be able to move anymore.
Sounds delightful. Saint Yune didn't pause his voracious eating as we talked. One by one, his plates were cleared until eventually the cart was empty. How do you do that? That's a neat trick and be able to stay so slim.
Thank you. Well then, off to the assembly.
I stacked the dishes to make the cleaning go more quickly and asked him whether he was leaving right away. You just ate. Shouldn't you rest a little?
I'll just fall asleep if I lie down now.
We can't have that.
No, we can't. So let's go.
Okie doke. Don't fall asleep at the assembly, though. Saint Yune led the way to the assembly hall. A flood of chatter washed over us when he opened the door. As the people inside saw Saint Yune, they fell silent one by one. By the time he sat down, the place was quiet. I stood behind St. Yune and looked around. It's been years since I was here. Last time I'd stood in a corner to watch. I had a very different perspective now. I can see all their faces up close from here. Does it feel so oddly close for him as well? Oh, what a very friendly face.
We will begin the session. As you can see, His Holiness is present. I expect everyone to comport themselves accordingly.
I forgot to breathe for a moment. Of course I remembered him. Right, he's the speaker. Warner Evans. He was from a powerful family and chaired the assembly, steering the fate of our country. He was also the father of my fiancé, Fitzgerald Evans. No, former fiancé. Now that I thought about it, all the misfortune had begun with the annulment of our engagement. What a suspicious coinkydink. To me, it was a blessing that it was annulled, but for my parents, it wasn't. I don't know why it was annulled either. It confused them so much. The mysteries had only grown from then on. I had to wonder whether anything was going to be cleared up. How many times would I have to grieve and suffer? No, I need to be more positive. I hadn't been exiled, at least. My reprieve would last only for a month, but at least I had that. I was St. Yune's personal attendant, and I had to do my job. There wasn't much I was going to be able to do in the limited time I had left. But I still have to look at the future with hope. I have to trust myself. Dots. After a couple of hours, the assembly entered a short break. Lord Warner came over to St. Yune, who was gazing idly at the men assembled.
Your Holiness, thank you very much for coming.
It's fine. This is part of my job, so there's no reason to thank me.
Lord Warner grimaced and glanced at me. His face became slightly harder.
Your Holiness, you have brought the woman.
So what? She's my attendant. My attendant accompanies me. It's perfectly lawful.
But she may have been noble at one point, but she slew her parents. Why would you even...
Shut up. It's my choice who serves me.
St. Yune sighed and stood up. You gotta respect somebody who can tell this guy to shut up. Just like, yo, I make my own decisions. Shut up. Damn.
I've seen enough. I'm leaving.
St. Yune, the assembly.
Don't worry about it. Good luck with the rest, Warner Evans.
I understand.
Mind your P's and Q's.
Your Holiness.
Yeah. Sure there's no underlying anger there at all. St. Yune, are you sure that leaving was alright?
Sure. You must have noticed for yourself that it doesn't matter whether I'm there or not.
It's true, they didn't address him once during the session. He had simply watched as the delegates talked amongst themselves. It might be a boring job, but leaving your post just because you didn't feel like being there was a mistake.
You look unhappy. Does it displease you that much that I'm ditching them? All the temple needs to do is attend the session. It symbolizes support for their decisions. There's no reason to stay to the very end. I'll be in my room. Bring me lunch, okay?
He left in the direction of his quarters. Did I make him angry? I still found it difficult to understand what he was thinking. He'd been an object of devotion in my childhood, and in a way he still was. But there's more. The more I learned about him, the more my impression of him edged away from what I considered saintly. But he's still a saint. I need to remember that when I approach him. Is he, though? Saint Yune was amicable when I brought him his lunch and when I removed the dishes later on. After a long nap, we set out again, this time for his afternoon appointments. He just likes to eat and sleep. I can respect that. He had a prayer assembly. It was a gathering of the most devout in the country, a chance for them to listen to Saint Yune.
Love and accept yourself. The one who understands you best is you yourself. From the moment you come into this world to the day you leave it, you are confined to your mortal shell.
Saint Yune's voice was the only sound in the quiet chapel. I'm surprised. He seems like a different person. His grin was nowhere to be found. He looked at the people with a stern, merciful expression. His voice was calm and soft, soothing their souls. This was the saint I had always imagined. Yes. As soon as we were back in the parlor, Saint Yune slumped into a chair and sighed. Good work, Saint Yune.
Yeah, well, talking on and on is very tiring. Normally I don't talk much, so this is extra exhausting.
Don't talk much.
What's wrong?
Saint Yune leaned back, giving me a wry look.
How was my sermon? Did it bore you?
I thought it was nice, but... He watched me, waiting for me to continue. You looked so different compared to when you were in the assembly. I was surprised, in a good way.
I guess... those people actually listen to me. They take what I say to heart. Which isn't always good, but I have to take them seriously as well. They see me as their priest, and I don't want to disappoint their faith.
Saint Yune. His eyes were clear and focused, like they had been during the sermon. In those moments, he had the look and presence of a priest. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Have phone notifications. Let me just turn that off. There we go. Ah, much better. So, why does he want me to kill him, then? His death would make many people deeply sad. It would be a profound loss to their faith, too.
Don't stare at me, okay? It's embarrassing for me. My job's done for today. Let's get going.
Oh, very well. I'd like to know his reason. I couldn't bring myself to ask. It felt like something intensely private. Perhaps I would understand in time. Before one of us was dead. There's that positive thinking again. I mean, I assume it must have something to do with the depths, because the only way you unlock Yune's route in the first place is by getting one of Ulrich's bad endings, where... I think it's the one where Yune talks about Ulrich's forefather and being like, "Aw, man, I wish you were here, my friend." So there's like something with that. I feel like there's a connection there. But what it is, no idea. The evening sun was red as a flame when we returned to his room. We could see it from the balcony, pulling down the veil of night. I was preparing to bring his dinner when Saint Yune approached me. An errand?
Yes. I need you to buy something for me. There's money in the drawer there. Use it however you like.
Right now?
Of course. I'd have told you tomorrow if I needed it tomorrow. Just go and buy me candy.
Alright. Candy. Candy? You're just about to have dinner, sir. Oh my goodness, this boy just is a never-ending pit. Saint Yune nodded. I hadn't misunderstood him.
I stand out wherever I go. I need you to go into the town without causing a commotion. I feel like eating something sweet right now. I want it today. Thanks.
Well, I guess he said thanks. I couldn't possibly refuse. Saint Yune sprawled out on the sofa, waiting for me to complete the errand. Should I be allowed to go out alone as a criminal? Saint Yune's astonishing request made me worried for myself. But I can't refuse an order. I'll have to go. I brushed aside the unease I felt and collected the purse from the drawer. See you later.
Yeah, take care.
You better not be setting me up for trouble, sir. I'd been worried that the presence of a criminal would cause unrest, but nobody is paying me any attention. They're living their lives as always. I guess this was to be expected. Most of the people didn't know me, after all. Being outside gave me a sense of freedom. I concentrated on carrying out my task. Candy should be around here. I reached a road with several stores selling food. What kind of candy does he like? There were a variety of different kinds. I chastised myself for not asking him, but then I remembered how he had eaten breakfast. Yeah, I'm like, I feel he eats everything. He ate everything, no matter what it was, and he seemed to like it. That didn't help. I'll buy chocolate to be on the safe side. It's funny, I never think of chocolate as being candy. I feel like chocolate's its own subset. And it, like, doesn't belong with the other candies. Am I alone in that? Whenever I hear, like, oh, buy me candy, I would never think to buy chocolate. I'd be like, peppermints, like candy canes, or, gummies, even, I'm not a big candy eater at all, so I'm just like grasping. Like, what's a candy? Anyway, then again, there were a variety of kinds of chocolate too. Aw, man. I bought one of every kind from a store, resulting in an astonishingly heavy bag. That sounds delightful, though. This is the first time I've bought so much chocolate. I hope he likes at least some of it. Now that I think about it, I have some memories of chocolate. Oh? Back then. Finn bought me chocolate on Valentine's Day. Oh, okay. It's Dad. This is fine.
Father, look! They have chocolate!
Yes, they're selling it. You have to buy it if you want it.
Buy? What does that mean?
You need to work first. When you work, you get money. And with the money, you can buy chocolate.
Okay. I want to work to buy chocolate. Give me work.
Oh boy. Alright. Help your mother when we get home.
I will, Father.
And after that, he went into the town with me and bought me chocolate. Well, good on you, Dad, for keeping your promise. That was so long ago, but I can still remember it so clearly. It felt unreal to me that he was gone. It's nice to have a memory of Dad for a change. We usually remember Mom. My home isn't far from here. I could have gone if I'd wanted to. But I have to take the chocolate to St. Yune. The heavy bag of chocolate was making its presence known. I feel like you could just take that line out of context and apply it in real life. I could never ignore a heavy bag of chocolate. He didn't tell me I couldn't take any detours, so I can probably go there for a little while. Girl, you're asking for trouble. Here I am. I'd only been gone for a few days. The house looked exactly the same. There were no police officers and no cordon. The house looked like it always had, welcoming me and my family. I was able to soak in its familiar appearance. I wonder how it looks inside. I'd only intended to look at it from the outside, but now the desire to enter arose in me. I'll go back if it's locked. I couldn't tell whether I wanted it to be locked or not. But when I found it unlocked, I was relieved. Inside, everything was as I'd left it. It was like being back in the dream I'd had. Mother. Father. I tried to whisper their names, half expecting them to emerge and greet me. My hopes were swallowed by silence. Blood. There was a red stain on the carpet. I bent down to touch it. The remains had been removed, and most of the blood had been wiped off. Not all of it, though. Some of the carpet was still stained dark. If I'd had more presence of mind back then, they'd still be alive. Perhaps they'd still be with me now. There was no use thinking about it. It just hurt. So much. I need to live a good life, one they'd be proud of. Please, sleep in peace now. Anger at the culprit mingled with my grief and sadness. I need to find the culprit. It couldn't end like that. Justice had to be meted out. I don't have a lot of time. I need to find a way. I have to get back to St. YUNE.
You! What are you doing there?
I was about to leave when a loud voice stopped me.
That house is empty. What were you doing there?
I know this voice. I knew what to expect when I turned around. Oh God, I forgot about you. Dude, that was ages ago. Well, I guess that would make sense. You have not featured in any of the other routes. I suppose now would be the time. Yeah, I was like, what is your name again? Oh yeah, Ark. Hi. Ark. I forgot that he called us honey. Oh no. Okay. That's fine. This is fine.
You? Honey, I guess you're a criminal who killed her parents now. Shouldn't you be in exile in the depths?
The town was so big, and yet I'd run into him of all people. He's not going to believe me if I deny the crime. Complex circumstances have led me to be employed as St. Yune's personal attendant. If you doubt me, make an information request to the temple.
Are you serious? St. Yune hired a criminal?
Is that criticism? Are you insulting the judgment of His Holiness?
I didn't say anything yet. Come on, that was harmless. Attendant, huh? Well, you have the crest and all, so it must be true.
I want to end this conversation as quickly as possible. Where's your partner? Shouldn't you be together?
My patrol area was enlarged when you left. We're having to patrol it separately. Kinda sucks if you ask me. But man, women sure have it nice, don't they? You always get better treatment in the end. I get bent over backwards and wouldn't be made a temple attendant.
I dislike this man so much. If he wasn't going to leave, then I had to. I was about to turn around when a question popped into my head. Ark, can I ask you something?
What? What is it?
It's about Finn. I heard he was discharged. But that's all I know. Do you have any idea how he's doing right now?
Fuck me if I know. I don't give a shit about him.
Well, that's certainly to the point.
Look, I'm a busy police officer, unlike you. I have to get going, Miss Former Aristocrat.
There goes a loathsome man. I sighed as he disappeared in the distance. I'm sorry, I knocked my desk in disgust. As I was thinking, you know, what are the odds that maybe he comes and saves my butt one day? I hope not. I hope he's just, like, as bad as everybody else in the game. I'd be okay with that. Finn, what are you doing right now? Is he doing all right? Finn. We're thinking about Finn so much in this one. By the time I arrived back at the temple, it was dark. I hurried back to St. YUNE, expecting him to be angry at my delay. Excuse me. I'm sorry that it took so long. I put the bag of chocolate on the table and looked at St. YUNE.
I'm surprised. You actually got me candy.
Surprised? Had St. YUNE expected me to abandon my duty? This is easy. I mean, I said I would. She's very dutiful and devoted. You like that, yeah? Yeah. I said I'd buy you candy, so I did.
Yes. Well, that still surprises me. You were outside the temple without supervision. You could have tried to escape, but you didn't. That's what surprises me.
Oh, okay. He was right. I'd been able to go into the town without restrictions. On the way, I'd run into Ark, but that had just been my own bad luck. Could I have escaped? But where would I have gone? Even if I could have hidden myself somewhere, I was still a criminal. In fact, running away would have added to my crimes. This country is small. I couldn't have run away for long. Besides, running away would be an admission of guilt. I wasn't going to do that.
Well, I'm glad you came back. There's less work for me that way, and I also get candy. So much chocolate.
Don't you like it?
No, I like chocolate, but I've never eaten so much of it. You bought a lot of different ones.
I bought one of each kind that the store had. St. YUNE picked a small piece of chocolate wrapped in silver paper and bit off a chunk.
I've always been quite frail. Whenever I had a fever, my family would make me hot milk. They always melted a piece of chocolate in it, and said it was a piece of magic to get me healthy again. I loved it.
You had a family?
Of course. But I've been alone for a long time. It was a really, really long time ago.
So you were a sickly child, and now you've become an immortal saint. I have so many questions. St. YUNE smiled softly, recalling something distant. He could have been any boy. Looking at him calmed my heart.
Thank you for going on my errand. Good work.
I'm glad I could be of use. St. YUNE told me I should eat some chocolate as well, so I sat down opposite him on the sofa and chose one. By coincidence, it was the same brand that my father had bought me. It made me smile. I never realized St. YUNE had a family as well. Human beings don't pop out of nowhere, so perhaps I should have expected it. But we had been taught that he was our one and only sovereign. It was a little strange. If I could tell my father that I'm in St. Yune's private rooms and spending time with him, he'd be shocked. My mother would probably have fainted. I would have loved to see that.
Hey, did anything happen in town?
I looked up. St. YUNE was watching me.
You look a little depressed. Tell me what's wrong.
Should I tell him I went to my old home? I trusted St. YUNE, of course. I had no idea what the consequences of telling him might be, though, so I hesitated. But he asked me directly, so I should give him an honest answer. I had no allies. St. YUNE was my only guiding light. I found myself embracing the vain hope that with St. Yune's support I might be able to find the real killer. I don't want to betray his trust. Well, after I bought the chocolate, I went to my old home. I wanted to know how it looked without anyone living there. I thought I'd be satisfied looking at it from the outside. But it was so exactly the same. The door wasn't locked, so I went inside. It was just the same inside as well. Except the people were gone. The people who'd been there just a few days earlier. If I hadn't blacked out, if I'd been more attentive, then my parents might still be alive. That makes me angry.
That's a weird thing to say. You killed them, so why the talk of being inattentive?
Saint YUNE. No. I don't have proof, but I really didn't kill them. I loved my parents. I would never have killed them. So I would like to prove my innocence and find the real killer.
That isn't good. If you haven't killed before, this whole plan is doomed. I ordered you to kill me. Did you forget that?
Well,
I saved you because I saw in you a killer cold enough to kill her own parents. If you didn't do it, then you're worthless to me.
death always leads to grief. If you lose your life, many people will grieve. They will lose hope, and some might end their own life trying to follow you. Why do you want to die so badly?
You know, I can't tell you. You just have to follow my order and kill me. With the same heartlessness you showed when you stabbed your parents. My plan and your request are irreconcilable, unacceptable. However, if you still want to prove your innocence, find proof. Something irrefutable that will overrule the criminal disposition notice.
Proof. Yes. As a police officer, I had always needed proof to arrest someone. But how? I didn't have the alleged weapon. All I had were memories and hope. I had nothing to go by. How, I wondered, was I going to accomplish anything? That didn't go well. I'd been hoping that he would rescue me, but he had extinguished that light of hope. He needed the criminal I was supposed to be. I had to deny the truth if I was going to live. Do I really need to live with a crime I didn't commit? Was I going to have to carry the crime of killing my parents for the rest of my life? I really don't want that. At any rate, I couldn't rely on Saint YUNE. There was nobody left who believed in my innocence. I need proof. There was only a little blood left in my home. That wasn't going to prove anything. I need to find proof. I had to search, not even knowing whether any proof existed anywhere. But I didn't want to live a lie. Even if all my allies are gone, I will live true to myself. I decided I would have faith in myself.